Okay, where do I look? Is it here? It's right about here, right? I haven't figured out where the camera eye is. Hi, my friends. I want to give you an update, a true update to the panic attack, EKG, crisis that happened a couple of weeks ago. Um, as you might recall from video number, yeah, because I don't remember which video it was. And so it turns out it really was a panic attack. I don't know what that sensation was. I've thought about it and thought about it afterwards. It kind of was like somebody came up to me and just kind of went like that. Right there in the center, bam, bam. Just not like, but just tap, tap. It was an absolute, for sure sensation. But, and I've let my brain actually say, okay, well, you know what? I'm a medium. Maybe somebody was trying to reach me and trying to say something. I don't know. I've been tapped on the shoulder before, okay, by people without bodies in this particular dimension, so why not? That's what I gotta say, because here's what happened. I finally got my appointment with Dr. Karlsberg in Beverly Hills. I got there on time. I was supposed to pop a pill 1 hour before my appointment. My appointment was at 11:45 a.m. and by 10:45 I needed to pop this pill. Well, I was nervous about that. I'm like, he told me this pill was going to make my heart like, I'm sorry, but that hand symbol, that body language right there, that says flatline. Make my heart like flatline. Is that what you're trying to say? That's not what he was trying to say. He was just trying to say stabilize my heart so there would be just be calm, stable. Okay. I still didn't really want to do that while I was driving, so I kind of waited till 11:03, and then I got to his office at about 11:25, and I told him I took the thing at 11:03. So they started doing stuff with me pretty much immediately. The first thing was they took me to, I don't know, the 10th floor or something, and I was to sit in, well, I was to be, this was for the, it's not an MRI. I think this is a CT scan. I think this was the you know CT the MRI scan is the great big tunnel and they slide your body through it. Well, this is not a tunnel, it's a donut. A great big I have a picture. So I had to do that, and I want you to know that that's taking a picture of my heart. But wait, before I lay down, I'm wearing, a gown thing on top and just my leggings on the bottom and my Uggs and whatnot, but the top part is hospital gown. So anyway, they hooked me up to an IV. And at some point during the imaging, they're going to shoot iodine into my body. And they warn me that when this happens, it's going to feel really, really hot. Here it is. They put the fire in this bag and fed it through an IV into my arm. Yeah. Really? And I'm like, what you mean hot? He's like, okay, kind of like being in a jacuzzi, but from the inside. I'm not liking the sound of this at all. But so first, the bed kind of like scoots you under the donut. So that the donut's like right about here. And if I opened my eyes, I could see the machinery inside of it going around or spinning around. It was actually going clockwise. But that was spooky. And I kept my eyes closed. I just kept my eyes closed. I didn't like the sound. I could not think of anything except that I feel like I'm being abducted by aliens. That is what I felt like. And I had my arms, I'm laying back, right? And I had my arms above my head, like, just like back. And I guess because they just want you to be straight as a board, like, sorry, you're right there. Okay, so straight as a board. And there are areas where the computer thing is telling you, hold your breath, breathe. Hold your breath. And sometimes it would say it for like a really long time. And I'd be like, oh my God, I didn't even get to inhale. It should have warned me like I could have inhaled first or something, but I guess it didn't want me to inhale. Maybe it just wanted my lungs. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, so there was that. Then all of a sudden they say, okay, we're going to shoot the iodine. I need you to stay really still. I feel the warmth. First thing I feel is in my hands. My hands are like on fire. It's so hot. I want to move, but I've already been warned and I'm trying. I'm like, oh my God, don't move. What's strange is that, okay, so it's going through all the veins and blood vessels in your whole body, all of them, and heating them up. I don't know why it has to feel like that. Why does it have to feel like that? Anyway, you got like vessels and arteries and whatnot in your groin area, and this was not a pleasant feeling, but I'm just saying, I was like, whoa, what is happening? Yeah, and then it subsided, and while this is happening, and he could tell that I was like kind of squirming a little bit, he's like, you're doing great, just like, be still. Like, oh my God, that was terrible. Finally, that went away. Oh my God. Anyway, so there's that. And I did good. And then they take me to another floor, and on this floor, they're gonna do like sonogram, kind of like a ultrasound, I'm trying to say. But it wasn't ultrasound. It's some other kind of along those lines way of looking at your arteries and your carotid and whatnot. And then underneath here, they look at in your heart. They're looking in there. Just got to go underneath your boob and look at the heart. And the guy, I'm going to send a gift to the guy who did this process with me. One thing that happened, he's looking at my heart. One of the first things he says is, do you not work out much? He's just like straight up with it. And I go, oh man, you could see that? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh God. And I was just thinking, oh no, this is not good. He's going to be seeing stuff. And pretty much our whole conversation through the time that he's doing the thing was about working out, and also about, because I'm asking him questions like, okay, like whatever status my heart is in right now, is it possible that I can go and I can work out and I can do stuff and then come back in 6 months, take the picture again, and my heart is like amazing? And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, I see that all the time. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And he's like, he's talking about how he can see the difference between a person who works out a lot and a person who doesn't, like at all. Like your heart shows it. So, okay, I'm a little bit nervous. He leaves me in the room to change my clothes, to put back on my regular street clothes on top and whatnot. And he also leaves my paperwork sitting there. So of course I'm flipping through the paperwork. And one thing everything is looking, normal. This aorta, normal. This artery, normal. This, but then there was this one thing, my left my left, bing, bing, bing. My that was enlarged. It said enlarged by my that. This. I panicked. I was like, oh my God. So I finally am done with all my testing, and I go back up, and the doctor's gotten my results, and I meet with him in his office, and he shows me everything, and talks to me about my heart and my vessels. I was expecting that I would have at least some percentage of blockage in my arteries, carotids and stuff and whatnot. I just figured at this point in where I am in my 50s that I just would by now, and but he said, no, I don't see any plaque, like no percentage of blockage, like 0. I'm like, wow, really? And he goes, right. And because of that, and then he looked at all the other parts of my heart, and then I said, but I have an enlarged thing. And he's like, where'd you get that from? I'm like, well, he left the room and he left the paperwork, and I'm flipping through the paperwork and I read it and I saw it. And he goes, okay, you have an enlarged thing. I wish I knew what that was right now so I could just say it, but I have an enlarged because of the size of my body. And eventually, with size, the bigger we are, our hearts are bigger too to accommodate. It's working harder. And I said, well, and also, he looked at my heart like first thing and he said, you don't work out much, huh? How did he know that? And he's like, okay, what he saw was the thickness of the tissue of my heart. It gets thicker, but it's thicker because of my size, because of how much it's working. And the next thing that it would do was it would just, be larger. It'd get larger. And right now, I only have a enlarged, that thing. But if I were to get bigger, the rest would grow too. And so there's that. So my enlarged thing, that, not a problem. Not a problem. And it's going to shrink as my body shrinks. And, but, so he said, with the state of my veins and arteries and whatnot, because there's no plaque whatsoever, like whatsoever, I'm like, are you sure? He's like, okay, I see a speck. That's like nothing. He's like, this means basically you have virtually zero chance of having a heart attack. Virtually. I'm like, wow. Virtually is the qualifying word because, it could be some weird thing, right? But basically, I get what he's saying. And oh my God, angels were singing, the clouds were parting. It was like, hallelujah. Oh my goodness. I went to my car. I cried so hard. I was pitiful. Dude. So grateful. Oh my God. So I decided not to show you all of that. But yeah, gratitude, major, holy smoke. So I'm like, wow, well, how did I do that? Like, was it because I eat good food? I mean, I know I might eat too much of the good food, but I generally eat pretty well. Is that? He's like, no. And I was like, damn, I was kind of bummed. Like, really? I wanted to think that this, the great results of this testing was because I have made good choices. He goes, no, that's not it. It's because you picked the right parents. So he chalks it up to my genes. I'll take that. I'll take it. But that was kind of a bummer. I mean, I know that how well you eat does play into the buildup of plaque and or not and stuff like that, and how healthy your heart is. So there's that. And then in terms of the actual just functioning of my aortas and all that stuff, perfect. I have a wonderful, healthy heart. I got a big heart.